Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. I'm Brian, Mr. Smith Kitchen, as always. And today I thought we'd make some dinner. It's Wednesday, getting ready to make dinner. Been baking pies all day and cakes for people, and thought I'd take a minute to cook us some supper. Everybody's getting kind of hungry. I'm kind of hungry myself. So I thought we would do something not out of my wheelhouse, but something I haven't had in forever, and that's chicken fried steak. So I've never actually made it before, so we're like most things on my channel. We're making it new for the first time together. And if you're new, first of all, welcome. If you're returning, thank you. Glutton for punishment, but all the same, I'm glad you stopped by and say hi. I definitely never take you guys' time for granted. I appreciate it more than you will ever know. But if you are new, a good majority of things I try on my channel, I do for the first time here on the channel. That way, it kind of shows that if this old man can do it, you guys can most certainly do it. But that being said, don't forget to subscribe. It's down here somewhere. I can never remember which side it's on. And the notification bell's right next to it. So hit that subscribe button. And if you want to know when my videos come out, which is every Wednesday and Thursday, but having a family and life does sometimes get in the way, but I do make a conscious effort every Wednesday and Thursday to have a video out. That way you'll know when they come out. And thumbs up, thumbs down are always grateful, welcomed, and appreciated, just due to the fact that not only does it kind of let me know where I'm headed, but it helps put us out into other people's feeds, so that way they can be a part of our neighborhood. We try to be a good neighbor through food. And, because food can bring a lot of people together, it can make strangers friends, it can do a lot of different things. Comments are always welcome. All I ask is you be polite with them. Even if you don't agree, be polite. Think before you type, so to speak. So anyhow, country fried chicken, usually served with mashed potatoes and a white gravy on top of that. A nice pepper gravy. And that's what we're going to make tonight. So, I'm going to show you how to make the chicken fried steak, and I'm going to show you how to make the gravy. Mashed potatoes, you can do instant, you can make from scratch. I'm not sure which I'm doing this evening, but when the end result, we'll have mashed potatoes on the plate. So let me get you down to the counter, and we will look at what we need. I'll give you the ingredients by cups, tablespoons, teaspoons. Unlike when we bake, I don't do grams with cooking. Because you can always change it up, add a little more, add a little less. It's not as fine-tuned as baking. And we'll talk about what you'll probably need to cook with. So let me get you down there, and we'll start cooking. All right? Hold on for me 1 second. Okay, so we're down at the counter. Things you will need: a couple bowls, or pans, or something of that nature to hold a liquid in and a solid in. You also need either a clean plate. I've got a baking sheet I'm going to use, and you will need a large skillet of some sort. Because what we're going to do is, so chicken fried steak isn't actually chicken. It's cube steak, or you can use round steak. I'm using round steak. Cube steak is expensive. Round steak, I can get 2 large pieces of round steak for the same price as a cube steak, and it does, it'll serve the same purpose. Cube steak is nothing more than round steak that has been just beaten to a pulp. It's actually run through a machine, and it severely tenderizes it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this has, let me find a piece that you might be able to see a little better with, maybe. You might be able to see it on that last piece. But see all those little holes in it? I used my meat mallet that's got spikes on it, and I just beat it to death, all right? And that makes it super tender like a cube steak. I got 8 pieces of cube steak, or what is now cube steak, for the price of 4 pieces of cube steak, doing it myself, and it took all of like 3 minutes. So the next things you will need that we're going to do is we're going to make our flour, because what we're going to do is we're going to put some salt and pepper on the cube steaks, and then we're going to coat it in flour, put it in the liquid mixture, put it back in the flour, and set it on the pan. So to make our dry, we will need, let me get my handy dandy recipe here. If you're new, I always write my recipe down in the book. If we like it, it stays in here. If I think it's something to can work with, I'll keep it in here. If not, I just tear it out and throw it away. I have yet to actually tear out a recipe and throw it away. There is nothing we can't adapt to and adjust. All right, so with our dry ingredients, we got 2 cups of flour in here. All right, and then we are going to add some seasoning salt, which is just regular old seasoning salt. If you have a brand you like, great. And we're going to add 2 teaspoons of seasoning salt to this. 1 and 2. And like I said, when it comes to cooking, you can add and take away as much or as little as you like. We're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper to this. All right. Now I called for fresh ground black pepper. This is just I don't buy freshly ground. It just gets too ridiculous. But I do use a coarse ground black pepper. It seems to do about the same. And we want 1.5 teaspoons of pepper in there. And then we're going to add some paprika. Now I'm using a smoked paprika. You can use whatever paprika you like. And you're going to need about 3/4 of a teaspoon. And since I don't have a 3/4 teaspoon and I don't want to dirty a dish, that will be 3/4 of a teaspoon. Which I'm just using a teaspoon and I filled it about 3/4 full. And then we are going to add some cayenne pepper. Now, I'm only putting a 1/4 teaspoon in here because cayenne can get hot. If you don't like the heat of cayenne, you don't have to necessarily, I'm guessing, put it in there. You could use, something a little lighter in the heat department. I can't think of anything offhand that might work, but I know there's stuff out there. And then we're going to take a whisk, and we're just going to whisk this all together. All right, we're going to make it, a nice, even, dry coating. All right, got that together. Took no time flat. Now we'll move on to our wet. So our wet is really easy to do. All we need is 1.5 cups of whole milk. I suppose you could use 2%, but you kind of need that fat to help it that's in it. And so we got 1.5 cups of whole milk, and to that we're just going to add 2 large eggs, like such. Bam, like that. Throw those in the trash. And we'll take our whisk and we're just going to beat those eggs up and mix it together. Alright, got that whisked up together. So now, what do we got next? We are going to take some kosher salt. Alright, just some coarse kosher salt. And we're going to work it 1 piece at a time. Put some salt on one side, and we're going to take some pepper and put some pepper on this side. Then we will flip it over. Salt, pepper, and then we will take our mix. We're going to, or our piece of meat, put it in the flour. Put it in the egg and milk mix, both sides. I will move my recipe off of here real quick. Because then we're going to put it back in the flour, like such. You want to make sure it's good and coated. And then we will set it on the pan. Alright, so I'll show you one more real quick, just so we know. Pepper, salt, and what the salt ultimately does, the kosher salt, not only does it enhance flavor, but it will also help to continue to tenderize this meat while it sits over here on this pan and we do the other ones. Salt, pepper on the other side, like such. Pick it up, put it in the flour, give it a good rub down. Now when you put it in your egg mix and you lift it up, let that stuff drain, or your egg and milk mix, let the excess drain off of that. You don't want to, bring all that milk over into your dry if possible. So Get that in there good and coated, just like such. Put it over on the pan. Alright, well, I'm going to get these other ones done real quick, and then when I come back, we'll talk about what to do next. Okay, we got everything breaded, cleaned up, put away, all that good stuff. And so the reason why we do the meat one at a time, much like fried chicken, is we are looking to give this time for the flour and the eggs to combine really well and hold on to the meat. If not, it just all falls off. Yeah, plus in this case, we're giving that kosher salt time to work into that meat and make it even more tender than it already is. So while that's sitting there, we've got that done and put to the side. The next thing we're going to do in a large skillet, I've got a cast iron skillet. Here, I'll tell you what, let me move you up a little closer to me real quick. Hold on for me 1 second. Okay, we're a little closer now. Alright, so I've got a large skillet. I'm using cast iron. You can use any kind of skillet you want. But to this, I'm going to put in a ½ cup of oil. Now I'm using vegetable oil. You can use canola oil, but you want a good frying oil. And something that's not going to take away from the spices that we put in there in our breading. So we got that in there, and we're going to add 1 tablespoon of butter, which if you don't know what a tablespoon is and you're new to the cooking world, tablespoons are marked on your butter sticks. Now I will tell you, let's say you're using margarine per se, which I have my opinions on margarine. I grew up eating margarine instead of real butter, but for the most part, margarine is nothing but oil. It does serve a purpose, but if you have the ability to use real butter, use real butter. So we're going to put 1 tablespoon of butter in there and a ½ cup of oil, and what we're going to do is we're going to heat this oil up. So, and then when I get it hot enough, there's a couple different ways you can test it. You can either take a little bit of your flour, and in this case I'll just pinch it off of the pan here and put it in there, and it should sizzle. Or if you have like a wooden spoon or something that doesn't have oil on it, it's natural, nothing coating it, you can stick that down in there. I use a toothpick sometimes or a skewer. You don't know what a skewer is per se. I have a wooden skewer right here. I can stick this down in there and you'll see bubbles coming off of it. That's usually how you know it's hot enough. So let me get this heated up, and then we'll talk about how to fry these. Alright, our oil is up to temp, and all I did was take some flour, put it in there. I can see it sizzling. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it started to sizzle. That tells me where we're ready to go. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our cube steaks and lay them in here. And if you're using real cube steaks, you can do up to 3 at a time. Now I didn't know if these would fit in here 3 at a time because these aren't the same shape, but they will. And we're going to let these cook for about 2 minutes per side. Now, if this starts to smoke and burn, you know, you can see things getting crisp really quick, that means your oil's too hot. If it's starting to do like it's doing now, we're a little too hot according to the directions. It says we should be frying this on medium heat. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 minutes per side, and when we come back, we'll take a look at what we got. Alright, so got the last 2 done. Put those on top here. Put some in there. Now, show you our completed project as far as the steaks go. Maybe. Now I just put them on a lined paper towel. Leave them sit there, but there we are. Alright, so that's our chicken fried steaks. So now we gotta make the gravy. So to make the gravy, it's really kind of easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this oil and grease that's in here. I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm just going to pour it into this metal pan. I'm just going to put it into you want to put the grease off to the side in a pan. Don't want to turn your heat off or anything, but depending on how much you have left, you're going to need a 1/4 cup. Alright, which I have exactly 1/4 cup of oil. So I'm going to put this in here. Alright, I'm going to put it back in. I just had to make sure I had a 1/4 cup. If not, I'd have to add a little more oil. I didn't clean the pan. You don't want to. To this, I'm going to add a 1/3 cup of just all-purpose flour. Alright, just like the 2 cups we used in the batter. Only use a third a cup. I could have probably, instead of getting rid of that third, used, or getting rid of the flour we used in the beginning, I could have probably just put it in here. And what we're going to do is, as soon as I get a spoon, is we're going to make a roux, all right? Now, all we're doing is cooking the flour and the oil and grease together until it turns a golden brown. This is how you make a roux, which is a staple in just about every gumbo, you know, known to man. And all we're doing is activating the flour. You don't want to make it too dark. Now, you can make a real dark roux, or you can make a blonde roux, which is pretty much what we have right now. But we're going to get it a brown, a nice golden brown. All right, we're a nice golden brown. Yeah, it's gotten darker, I know. So, the next things we need to add to it is 3 to 4 cups of milk. Now, I say 3 to 4, but I'm going to go 4 because I've learned with gravies, they thicken quick. White gravies do. So I'm going to go ahead and go with 4. All right, give that a good stir around there. All right, and to that we are going to add a half a teaspoon of seasoning salt, which I'm going to guesstimate half a teaspoon of seasoning salt. I know. And then we are going to pepper to taste. So I'm going to go about an eighth to a quarter teaspoon. Yeah, 1 healthy pinch, basically. And all we're going to do now is just give this, we're going to use a whisk, and we're going to whisk this kind of continuously. You know, it doesn't have to be at a rapid pace, for about 3 to 5 minutes until everything smooths out and gets thick. All right, so let me get that done, and then we'll basically plate her up and give her a try. Okay, so we've thickened up, and I thought I'd show you how to know when it's thickened up. See how it's bubbling, but it's plopping. It's not like bubbling like water. That's how you know it's starting to get thick. And like I said, the reason why I added 4 cups in here instead of 3 is you lose about a half a cup to a cup as it thickens, as it steams off. So let me get this. I'm going to I got it turned off already. Get this off the heat so it'll slow down on its thickening. So I'm going to get this plated up real quick, and when I come back, we'll cut a piece, take a look, and give it a try. All right, be right back. All right, got the mess kind of sort of cleaned up and out of the way. So I thought we would give this a shot. Got some mashed potatoes on the side there, and there is our chicken fried steak. And you also have a corn and a salad with this. I think we got green beans heating up. And of course, using a butter knife probably isn't the best idea, but it was what I had available. That's all right. So we'll get some potatoes on there. Sorry you didn't get to see me put that in my mouth, but that's good. If anything, I may sprinkle a little salt on it. I don't think there's quite enough salt in it, but other than that, I can't complain. Hold on for me 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to go get a real knife, because it's always good to take a second bite. That way you can be sure you know what you're talking about. But there we are right there. This way you can see it. Yeah. That's definitely doable. The meat is so tender. And I honestly think the cayenne that's in the breading is perfect, because there's like no heat, not really at all. I think the gravy and the milk batter that we dipped the meat in really balance that out. So hands down, because you can taste the paprika, you can taste the cayenne. But like I said, it's not hot by any means. I like this. I think it'd be a good meal, and it doesn't take long at all. I mean, it might have taken 20 minutes tops, 25, and it's ready to rock. So, that being said, I'm going to go enjoy dinner with the family. Try this. Let me know what you think. Either way, good, bad, or indifferent. Or if you do something different, or if you have a recipe for this, and you want to tell me how you make it, that's fine. Or you can get on our Facebook group on Facebook at Mr. Smith's Kitchen and share your recipe. Like we share ours. So that being said, tomorrow we're going to do a blueberry cheesecake, and I think you guys are going to find it amazing. It's a recipe I found online that I'm currently working with, and I want because that's what I want to use to make the 3-layer cake. So now that we've got the blueberry cake itself and the icing down, we just got to work on the cheesecake, and then we can bring it all together. So till tomorrow for blueberry cake. I love you. I love you very much, and I mean that. I really do mean that. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. Tell somebody else you love them. Make this meal for your family. This would be a great conversation piece. Bring a friend over. They'll know that you love them just by the taste of this food. So, tomorrow, blueberry cheesecake. I'll see you then. All right? I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.